Hi, welcome to the podcast, Neuro and Beyond, with Simon.
And Angela. That's me.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about the world of spirituality and neurodiversity and how they collide, the chaos that ensues, the stability and the thread that runs through them all. It will be funny, it will be chaotic, it will be emotional. We're excited to see where it goes as we explore the subject.
We certainly are. And a lot of what we plan to cover and deliver to the audience and those that wish to tune in is to bring out our exploration on the collision of our two worlds in the psychic field and in the neurodivergent field, and that's exactly how we met. So if we just share with you how we started and how the universe collided our timelines and pathways, and then we'll take it from there. And we just invite you to join us in our exploration. We're not going to give prescriptive information. This is just our experiences, and it's for you to take from it what you will. So, how did we meet? It wasn't very long ago, was it?
It wasn't, although it feels in a good way that I've known you for a long time. No, so we met. I work for a men's mental health charity, and I interview and get to meet all applicants who want to come and be walk leaders with us or volunteer in some way, either as a campaigner or some such. And Angela applied, which number one is unusual because the majority of applicants we get are men. So that made the application stand out. And then the conversation that we had when we first met, it made it feel, I certainly felt like there was more to it. More of a chance meeting, like there's something behind it, which we will discuss in further detail because it's quite not chaotic, but quite an opportune meeting of two people from two different worlds coming together and something really special happening.
Yeah, I work with spirit guides, and I don't do this, and I won't say anything from a belief system point of view in our podcast. For me, it's all been evidential, and that's what I invite anybody else to look at and hold on to, rather than a belief system. And my guide said to me, apply for this. They were leading me towards this particular role, and I thought, well, I said, but I'm female. I'm not male. How on earth am I going to assist in that group? But I now understand, as that wasn't for me, that volunteer work. It was to meet Simon and be connected with his family, and some of the work I did thereafter with his son that's now brought us to this place.
And it was amazing. All due respect to Angela, I don't remember much about the interview.
I made such an impression.
Because in my head, all I was thinking, I think you'd introduced yourself as a life coach, you advise people, and you talked about hypnosis and the power of that, and your spiritual beliefs. And in my head, I was straight away like, hypnosis? Because my son has, he struggled with some issues that we've been trying to help him with for years. And we've been talking about hypnosis, and then all of a sudden here I am presented with somebody who does this. So quite selfishly, I was like, how can I cross this gap between what you're applying for and my personal life? So being the neurodivergent that I am, I just came out and asked. And I said, would you be able to help with this? And you came to our home, and I won't go into all the details of what we've discussed with my son, but it's transformed his life. I don't use that word lightly either. and it's helped us massively as a family. And during that, it's helped create an understanding of what it is that Angela does. And as we got to know each other a bit better, Angela's opened up a bit more to me about, you know, her spirituality and the plane that it operates on. And, you know, I would describe myself as a healthy skeptic, but I am open to things. I lived with neurodivergence for my entire life, only being diagnosed last year. So I'm aware that things go on that we don't understand, and sometimes you just need somebody else to bring that awareness or that understanding or teach you about it. So I'm very open on this, but I will be asking questions. Some will just come straight out because my lack of filter, due to my ADHD, often in probably response to something that Angela's said that ignites a spark in my head, and if I don't get it out, it'll be gone forever. But yeah, that's how I've met Angela, and somehow in our conversations that, you know, that followed on from her help with my son, we started talking about all sorts of things, and I know Angela's mind was ablaze, and my brain goes down rabbit holes, and Angela came up with the idea of, do you know, it'd be really good with these conversations if we recorded them, because somebody out there, if this may resonate with them, it might help them. You know, if we relate our personal experiences, and as Angela said, these are just our personal experiences. You know, we're not trying to give you advice or diagnose you. You need to go to the medical experts for that one. But if you want an entertaining journey, exploring the world of spirituality and neurodivergency, you've fallen in the right place.
Yeah. It just occurred to me about the hypnosis. I was guided to offer my assistance using hypnosis, which is something that I've not done for years. I stopped treating clients through my life coaching with hypnosis many years ago. So I was really confused as to why it felt right to offer this and walk this way. There's a song in there.
There is. I won't sing it.
No. But I went with it, and I went with it according to the instinct inside, that feeling, that knowing, and my guidance that says go with it. And I knew I was going to work a very different way, but I didn't quite know how. I was kind of working a little bit blind. I'd got hypnosis and NLP as the vehicle that I knew and was comfortable with, but I had to move into a different arena. And I realised, looking back, is pulling in the energy work and the reading of the brain. And when I see the brain patterns, I see them very, Spirit show it to me very simply. So I see bridges inside the brain connecting one section to the other, and then I have to work out, you know, scientifically what that means. So it's been a huge exploration for me from the beginning. But my takeout from that is, if you got the feeling and the knowing to do something that you feel like, well, I've done that before, what's the point? If there's an instinctive strength within you that I feel like I have to do it, then go with it and trust your instincts, even though it might have a really steep learning curve and it never turns out the way you think.
Absolutely. And I would describe that from my perspective as gut feeling. Yeah. And there's a lot to be said about that. Yeah. You know, we get this feeling and it originates here, whether it be anxiety, nerves, you know, when there's something going on, it always originates here. And it's certainly, I've had a gut feeling about us doing this. Yeah. I never for one moment imagined that Angela and I would be sat here talking to a room full of cameras with light setups, talking about spirituality and neurodivergency. Nope. Because in reality, although I've had ADHD my entire life, it's only last year that I was diagnosed with it. So this is all new to me. And it's really interesting that, you know, I've had to open my mind up to the world of neurodivergency. I've gone down all the rabbit holes of social media, followed all sorts, you know, people on their neurodivergent journey, And, you know, speaking to Angela, as I said, I'm a healthy skeptic. And I'd always be looking at, wow, but can I explain that in another way? Is it? So it's not coming from a point of, I don't believe you. It's just, I have to find my way of understanding it. So I'm really excited. And it's already been shown to me that there is something in this. Because from the first time that, it's going to sound really funny, the first time you hypnotised my family, I felt a switch in me. And I had this sudden energy that I've never felt in my life. Now, I'm not going to try and explain it because I honestly, I can't. No. All I can say is that from that moment, there are things that have occurred either because you've inspired something in me, given me a confidence, or opened my mind to what the universe can provide for us. And that has led to things that I would never have dreamt of doing, asking friends who I've known for years for help. That's a very new thing for me. People coming to me, offering assistance, starting a new business. There's all these things that have happened, or certainly increased since that hypnosis. So my question is, what did you do to me?
Yeah, but very often in hypnosis, well, I do have an answer for that. I'm not quite sure it'll cover it's scientific, but within hypnosis takes you into a trance, into that level of where the brain has the theta waves, and that is the unconscious. So the unconscious is in control when you move down into your meditation or hypnosis level. So when your unconscious is in control, you don't all them other niggly bits and the doubts and the fears that stop us doing so many things in our lives as just human beings go away. They're not there. They dissolve. So
the handcuffs are off.
Yeah, it's talking to the unconscious, and sometimes, and what I see sometimes when I've done readings psychic readings in the past, is people's blueprints for when something within them switches and ignites, and something within the brain switches on. As that's the only real way I can describe it. And that switch on, that activation, gives you an activation into, you know, something left field, a new turn, a new pathway. And often it is the pulling together of all the lessons you've learned in your life all come to that one moment. It always blows my mind when I think, sometimes my guides will say to me, your life has been in total preparation for this one moment. And that's moment to moment to moment. It's all prepared. And even kind of before birth, or wherever you want to take it, wherever you think the soul is or goes or exists as, everything brings you to this moment. And the hypnotic or the meditative things that we do is we go into that space. And certainly in my experience with those that I've been connected to all my life that have been neurodivergent, I've been surrounded by, and I think it's because I have been attracted to certainly working with neurodivergence, is because I really like the brain, the ND brain. I think is just fascinating, and it works fast, and I really find it challenging to hold on to those thoughts and see where those thoughts come from, and it's more of a mirror to my brain than not being than neurotypical. So often you'll see in the podcast, I'll completely lose my train of thought.
There'll be two of us.
But between us, we can always pick something out of the conversation thread and take it forward. So I suppose that's the answer I have to the hypnosis, is it was a time for activation.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's explains a lot of things. So, you know, as we travel through life, and particularly I found that the older I get, when I look back at things I've really struggled with that have caused me real emotional difficulties I've really struggled to get through, as I've come out of it, particularly with reflection, I can look at it with, I don't know why I went there, why me? And I think we often have that when something bad happens, it's like, why me? And it's kind of almost, I don't know, I felt self-pitying, which didn't really achieve much as I wanted there in my grief and despair. But looking back on it, I can see that all those challenges that I went through and I came through showed not just a resilience that I never knew I had, but also the belief that everything for a reason, that it's pushing me. These are all lessons that I have to learn before I get to where I'm meant to be, to that point that's going to be whether it be the pinnacle of my life, or my purpose of my life. And so it's like adding things to your toolkit.
Yeah.
And I think, particularly with mental health, when you go to seek help or you go online, everyone is offering you tools. Here's your tool for your toolkit. Here's another tool for your toolkit. And they're not meant as a cure-all. It's something to, when you are in that moment where you don't know what to do or you're struggling, it's something that you can fall back on. And I know that Angela's given us, my family, some. So particularly so with my son who was struggling with a phobia, there were certain the stages that we went through with Angela, and there were tools that she gave to me, my wife, my son, to use when we were in those moments where previously we would have, pardon my French, lost our shit. Or shouted or got extremely emotional and kind of lose sense of what we were trying to do, or it wasn't helping the situation. Angela gave us these tools for our toolkit that we could fall back on that would help get us through that moment. And as we layer upon layer upon layer of using these tools, we're now in this position where we don't actually have to use them. We've learned how to respond in that situation. But without those tools in that moment, we would probably still be stuck in that moment.
Yeah, a big learning for me doing that work was, if you pardon the expression, the biggest tools were the parents.
Not the first way to say that.
So it wasn't just about treating an individual for me. This time, something that I'd not consciously done before was to see and extract all the strengths of the parents and the group, or the support group around that individual, and to see how to work those energies in, so that the growth can be there without me needing to be that, me needing to interject or be that facilitator. So the ADHD thing was certainly, I saw in Simon, certainly a strength and an advantage which I could bring out to help his son and the system and development that they've done going forward, to make that growth and improvement. So that was a huge exploration for me as well. Not just to have you treat this by doing this. It was kind of, okay, widen your mind completely and see all the different ways people think, and use their mind and strengths, especially with neurodivergency, is picking up those huge strengths within that brain system, that thought system. For me, it's an accelerator. That's how I absolutely saw it, an acceleration of moving forward.
I know that will be a topic that we explore in future episodes, where neurodiversity is a strength, because I, having struggled for best part of 47 years, struggled with understanding the world around me, I never felt that it would be a strength. But with Angela just saying that, it's a strength. There are strengths to it. Like everything, there are strengths and there are things that are maybe not so beneficial. As I forget my shopping again. But knowing that, my ADHD brings creativity, it brings empathy, it brings self-awareness. There's so much to it. The ideas, the abundance of ideas, but not the follow through. That's why Angela's here. Bringing you this podcast today. But being able to see that, this whatever's going on inside my brain doesn't have to be the thing that breaks me. It can be the thing that makes me. And turning that whole mentality, that whole thought process on its head has been amazing. It's been really freeing. And just being open, being receptive to, what you do, your abilities. I still haven't worked out how I'm going to describe it. How to word
Still
it.
not worked me
So
out.
there's going to be one. No. But being open to it, it's opened other avenues, opened doors that I never thought would open. I'm going down a road that I never thought I would travel. And
You're full of good strap lines.
I'm full of something. You see all these coming up soon across the screen. But it's also the positivity that you bring, that the fact that you can see where this journey is going, that maybe not the ultimate destination, but you can see the stops along the way, or at least the formation of them. And for somebody who is very good at thinking of things, maybe quite good at starting them, but not necessarily finishing them, that's a really positive thing, because it helps me go, okay, I'm doing this for a reason now. I'm doing it to get to X point. There will be barriers through the way, but between us and with our knowledge, our skills and our experience, we can go through those doors and hopefully bring something to anybody who's listening to this or watching this that might resonate with you and help you to maybe travel a path that you weren't thinking you could, or open the door to some dream or prospect that you'd kind of secretly wanted to do, but didn't think you could do it, didn't necessarily have the courage to do it, because it does take courage to try new things. But hopefully this will be a conduit to get you there.
Yeah.
I use the word conduit.
It's kind of me, but the conduit. There's so many things that we want to talk about. We could, I'm quite sure we could talk for years. It just depends if anybody wants to listen to that or not. But certainly what I've found and aim to share is to just bring out some kind of catalyst in somebody's thinking that says, okay, this is my stream, or this is my behaviour, my challenge within my neurodivergency, but is it also a psychic ability? And that's what I've found over time, is that there are a lot of strengths that are seen as challenges within neurodivergent individuals that I can relate to as being a psychic ability. And there are, I do believe, and that's why we seem to be, our podcast is about the worlds bridging and worlds colliding, because they seem to be very close to me. And what is seen in the spiritual field as a strength and an ability in psychic work, or whatever you want to call it, is also in the neurodivergent world as well. And it's the way they're perceived. And I think if we can cross that bridge and get, even if it's just one individual say, oh, hang on a minute, maybe that wasn't because of my challenge with ADHD, maybe it's because that is my psychic ability that has switched on in that particular thread of behaviour. So you see it a completely different way and use it a very different way. I think that the podcast will have been of value and a success.
Absolutely. And from my perspective, if talking about neurodivergence, acceptance, having an open mind, whether you believe in the spiritual world or not, that you will get something from this, because I've witnessed firsthand from working with a mental health charity that talking through different experiences and accepting people with their different gifts, different skills, it opens up a whole new world for you. Yeah. And I've met so many people as a result of that charity work that have massively impacted my life, and vice versa. I've impacted their lives in a way that I never thought I would. So from my perspective, talking is a great tool, as long as we use the words wisely, and hopefully this will reach somebody that it will resonate with.
Yeah.
Then it'll be a good thing.
Okay. All right. So
we will be covering topics that we've had many conversations behind the scenes here about what should we talk about, and there are so many subjects that really do seem to cross over between spirituality and neurodivergence, and I think it's really exciting just to explore those avenues and see where it takes us, because there's kind of lots of kind of anecdotal evidence, and and there will be prejudices, and whether it be prejudice against neurodivergence, mental health, or spirituality, there will be. But I also know that there is an awful lot of people who will benefit from this, and we're all about positivity. We're all about harnessing that, and bringing the good out of people and giving good back to the universe. Yeah. So that's who we're going to focus on. So it's fine.
Okay, we'll see you soon.
Yeah, come back soon.